Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to take a look at the astrological energies from February 28th until March 6th. As we close out the month of February, move through Leap Day, and more fully enter the energies of Pisces season in March. Right now, we have 3 areas of your chart that are in focus, and these are related to the conjunctions that are happening with Mars and Venus, still within a few degrees of each other in Aquarius, 11 to 14 degrees. We have the triple conjunction between the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn at 9 degrees of Pisces. Plus, we still have a conjunction with the North Node and Chiron in Aries from 15 to 17 degrees. And so when we have 3 conjunctions at the same time, it could feel like we are heavily invested in these areas of our lives. Our energy is highly concentrated in these astrological signs, expressions, needs, and themes. So do keep that in mind as this week unfolds, is that you could feel like there's things that are front and center that you really have to take care of. They're calling for your attention and they're requiring you to be very intentional with what is happening for you. So as always, we're going to discuss more of the astrological energies in this show, but I just wanted to start with that understanding of how this energy can feel rather intense right now with these 3 conjunctions. Now, as a quick programming note, there was no Wednesday episode on February 21st. I think it is the first Wednesday episode I have missed in years. I can't remember when I missed a Wednesday episode. So thank you for your messages and your remarks. I really appreciated it. I did send an update on my social media channels and through email that there were no podcasts last week, but we are back at it, rolling along. So let's get to what is happening right now. So as I'm recording this, the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn are all together at 9 degrees of Pisces. But this energy is quite intense. And so let's honor this. Let's really honor the fact that this intense energy is possibly bringing up for you some very deep emotions. And that's because Pisces is where we empty, we release, we complete and finalize, where the energy is meant to move and flow. It is a mutable water sign where it needs the energetic movement of feelings, of intuition, of whatever maybe has been bottled up. And keep in mind that, yes, we still have 3 planets in Aquarius. We have Pluto, Venus, and Mars all in Aquarius. But as the energy moves from Aquarius into Pisces, it's a release of the linear. It's a letting go of what has been focused or strict, because that Aquarius energy wants to keep us in line with something we're conceptualizing, wants us to focus on the future, where we're going, wants us to be aware of how we're using our energy systems in an intentional manner. But as the energy moves into Pisces, there's an opening where the boundaries fall away. The walls collapse. There's a disintegration that happens in Pisces that is meant to open us up to more ways of flowing with universal forces, more ways of trusting our own journey and trusting our path. But this year, with Saturn here, conjunct Mercury, conjunct the Sun, it's easy to feel a heaviness. It could be an accumulated sadness, an overwhelming sadness. It could be grief or melancholy or a sense of depression. There could be a heaviness right now that is meant to be honored. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be something that you allow to further integrate more of your emotional body, your intuition, your spiritual self. This could also be opening you up to parts of yourself that maybe you've pushed away or you haven't fully embraced before. This Pisces focus right now can feel like a lot of emotions and feelings are running through you if you haven't been dutifully honoring that part of your energy system. And there's a few things here that could perhaps help with understanding these pieces. Now, the first is that Pisces is feminine energy. And not only do we have these 3 planets in Pisces, but they are receiving an assist from Jupiter in Taurus, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But that's also a feminine energy. I'm feeling this as a deep integration of parts of your feminine self that are supporting you in ways that could feel quite powerless, that could feel overwhelming, that could feel like I don't have a handle on this, it's super messy, and there's nothing structured or linear about it. And so it can be a big purge, even a purge of things you didn't even realize you were holding. Now, keep in mind, the reason why this is so significant is because Saturn hasn't been here for 30 years. This could be an accumulation of energies you've been through in the past 30 years. That doesn't mean it's a full 30-year cycle. It could be something you've accumulated over the past 18 years or 7 years or 4 years, whatever it feels like for you. But this is an ending point that we haven't arrived at, we haven't experienced since the mid-1990s. And so it is a collective release, a collective purging of what we've been holding and have felt very responsible for. And Saturn is actually giving us a very clear checking in point here on how we've been handling and working with and honoring our feminine processes, our intuition, our heart, our feelings, our spiritual growth. And if you're truly allowing those parts of yourself to be downloaded, to be accepted, to be embraced as part of your divine power. And when you think of it in terms of feminine energy, the feminine is in a constant process of creation and release. And this is through all areas of life. This is part of the feminine journey, is not only what you can create, what you can feel and tap into and experience, but then your ability to let it go. And that surrender is grief. That letting go can be a lot at times, but the feminine body is made to work in these cycles where every 28 to 29 days, an egg is either fertilized or not. And that is the cycle of creation and release that the feminine body naturally experiences. And so it's important to understand that we are built for the surrender. We are built for loss, for grief, for understanding that there's things that we're just here to continually flow through. And how are you honoring that in yourself? And so when we have astrological energies that focus heavily on feminine expressions, especially in Pisces right now, it's bringing up your ability to process and release in healthy ways. It brings up how you handle grief. It brings up how you manage what you're feeling and how you give yourself space to do so. And how even when we can resist it or we don't want it or we want to push it away, there's bigger energies here that will sit us right down and show us what needs to be experienced as part of your overall energetic power. And that is simply a big theme in the energy right now that brings up, how do we honor these bigger flows as they move through us? And the Saturn in Pisces always has a responsibility to it, a responsibility to your energy, a responsibility to your health, to your emotional self, to your spiritual growth. however that's manifesting or showing up for you. But I feel too, like at a much deeper level, this energy is bringing up our unconscious God wound. The God wound of deep separation, or perhaps unconscious victim perceptions. Perhaps it's bringing up feeling very alone, when in the higher realms, we are always connected to all that is. We are source. We are the divine. You are always in energetic connection with your God self. But this could bring up some deeper themes for you to look at, again, from the past 30 years. That's why it's such a big deal. That's why it can require that intentional pause and self-reflection and going quiet within, where you might be moving through something that actually has been coming up for you for a while. Now, previously, we've discussed how Saturn in Pisces was in an exact sextile to Jupiter in Taurus. And this energy is designed to be beneficial in our ongoing growth and in helping us ground in new levels of self-love, self-worth, self-compassion. The sextile was exact in early February at 7 degrees. These two planets are still within orb of each other, but with the Sun and Mercury conjunct Saturn, it makes it more personal. So basically, you could have been feeling this energy approaching in January and February, and now it's arrived, and a part of you knew or could sense that it was coming up, and now it's real. Now maybe there's something you are solidifying or you're understanding. One thing I'm hearing, though, especially with the Mercury influence, please don't turn it against yourself. Please don't turn the story, the experience, the narrative against yourself, which is what that Mercury in Pisces can do. Instead, understand what you were learning, understand what you were moving through that is designed to improve you, to support you with more wisdom, to help you with solid steps moving forward. And because that Mercury can be looking for information and understanding, this is where the lovely sextile from Jupiter in Taurus is going to ground you into something with personal grace, personal strength, and even a new solid commitment to yourself about what you are ending in your journey, what you're no longer accepting or experiencing, what you're no longer wanting in your reality. And that's also one of the directives of Saturn, is that something has to disintegrate here. Now, Saturn wants something to be solid and concrete. And as this Saturn has been interacting with Jupiter in Taurus, you have a sense of what that is. It's like the future sense, the hopefulness is still there, even if it's not front and center. It could be in the peripheral. It could be just off to the side, right? And you're like, okay, I'm in this right now. This is what I'm feeling. It sucks. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's all the things that we often want to avoid. And then here is Saturn bringing it front and center so that you can really look at it and be stronger because of it. Allow it to evolve your consciousness. Allow it to make you better. And then here's this Jupiter reminding you, you've got this. It's only hard temporarily because there's more that is expanding and growing that will come through because of what you're done with. And so it's actually this really beautiful dance within the feminine sphere of experiences of deep trust that is uncomfortable. That could be a loss of hope, a loss of faith. Almost like it feels like the whole world is against you, nothing's working, everything's falling apart, and it turns out none of your socks match. I mean, this is the stuff that Saturn shows us. But Saturn wants you to gain from this, but the gain is in what you're leaving behind. The gain is in what you're completing, the cycle you're ending. Again, whatever it is for you in the past 30 years since the mid 1990s. I mean, wow, right? It's like everything that could be in the past 30 years. But specifically in Pisces, with the Sun and Mercury, you know what it is. You know what it is. Because the fact that the Sun and Mercury are exactly conjunct in what we call a cazimi, that means your intuition is giving you a message so loudly. Pisces brings in these intuitive downloads. And yeah, maybe there's a part of yourself that doesn't want to see it. It's resistant to it. You'd rather go over here to Venus and Mars and Aquarius, who are in the linear mind, perhaps having a little bit more fun and feeling stronger. But your intuition knows something is no longer needed for you on the journey ahead. Your consciousness is deeply evolving in the higher realms. Mercury brings in those messages, and it could take 2 instances where you get it because of how Pisces is a sign of duality. So first it comes through spiritually, and then it comes through the human realms. And then there's something you can't deny because Saturn is sitting right there, front and center, showing you a contract, a soul contract, a form, something that you're meant to grasp. And as soon as you do, the energy opens up. Because after this conjunction, Mercury moves ahead to make an exact sextile to Jupiter and Taurus at 10 degrees on February 9th, followed by the Sun sextiling Jupiter and Taurus at 11 degrees March 1st. And I feel like even though they're moving forward to connect with this Jupiter and Taurus, there's still lingering things. Now keep in mind, both Venus and Mars will have this conjunction to Saturn, and that will happen in March and April. Plus, we are moving towards the Sun conjunct Neptune. So we are going to be in these Pisces realms for a bit. Just go easy on yourself. Be soft on yourself. Be softer, not tougher on yourself. Allow something that is coming up for you to be a beautiful gift of your soul's messages. And almost like don't fight it or don't push it away. Just allow it to land softly. And what does that mean? It's like watching a feather just gently come down and land on a surface and looking at what is this about? What does this mean? And you'll probably have some insightful understandings because Mercury in Pisces is also going to sextile Uranus and Taurus at 19 degrees on March 4th. And the messages want to come in. Spirit wants you to get the message. Spirit wants you to receive something that's supportive. Because when these energies are emotional and intense and there's a lot moving through, we need grounding. And so we have the strength here of both Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, grounding you into some new light codes, some new wisdom, some new parts of yourself that you're learning to trust. You're learning to, I'm seeing the core, like the core self is being formed or reformed. Parts of what's been out there in the ethers is arriving and helping you to up level. And that alone can help with understanding the discomfort of this level of ascension and spiritual growth is that it is an up level, but it's up leveling by removal. And I'm seeing it too as the energy of consciousness within us starting to accelerate and move faster because of what you are releasing and lightening and what you are powerfully choosing to transform that could feel like I'm actually not choosing this. I'm being required. I'm being required to do this. Now, we have an interesting dynamic here on March 3rd with Venus in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus at 19 degrees. And these two are in mutual reception, Mutual reception means the planets are in each other's rulership. And so Venus in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus is very spicy, unexpected. This is where something happens out of the blue, very destabilizing as well. This can bring up financial issues, financial surprises. This can bring up relationship changes. Something that you love and value can be front and center. This is also showing you what you need and what you don't need. And there could be something that you just have clarity around in a new way that maybe it felt like it was super important. And then it shakes up the status quo in some capacity, and you're realizing, I don't really want that at all, or I don't really want to put energy towards it anymore. So your values are front and center here. Again, that's March 3rd. And it's also happening as both Venus in Aquarius and then Mars in Aquarius sextile the North Node in Aries. So there's been a rising up of self. There's been something here that perhaps you're understanding you're good at, or you'd like to do next, or it has your name on it. It's something that you've had to build confidence around. Perhaps there's been hesitation or doubt. Maybe you thought, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if that's for me. And it's been part of this reprogramming around what you're realizing you want in your bigger life experiences. And it's showing you that you are capable, you are good enough, you can have it, you can experience it. But maybe there have been parts of your brain you've had to move around in order to make space for this next version of life, this next dream, this next something that the North Node in Aries is stirring up for you. And maybe it is just a vision at this time. Maybe it is something that, you keep seeing in your third eye, or you keep seeing in a dream state, and it keeps being presented, whether it's simply the idea, the notion, the possibility. But this is expansive energy that I feel is coming from a future self message, a future timeline, if you will, of energies where you're on the other side of something and there are overlapping timelines. That's the way to describe it. Okay, that's what it looks like. There's these overlapping timelines that are keeping you in a current space of, I've got to deal with this, I've got to heal this, I've got to change this, release it, all the stuff we just talked about with the heavy Pisces focus. But then you could feel an overlap that a part of you is already through it. A part of you has moved past it, and there's something increasing as it approaches that is coming into view, but it's brand new. It's brand new. It's something you haven't experienced yet in this lifetime. It's something that isn't fully here yet, but the overlapping timelines are feeling quite present and quite activated. So astrologically, this is the energy I'm feeling around Venus in Aquarius, sextiling the North Node and Chiron. Also Mars in Aquarius, sextiling the North Node and Chiron. And that will last until March 6th. We're also getting more multidimensional downloads. That's part of the confusion. Also part of the excitement, really sensing and feeling that these new energies are strongly supporting you, but perhaps not in what you expected or not how you thought it would be. Because now I'm feeling this really strong masculine energy. Whereas before, when we were discussing the feminine energies, there's also this, it's like a renewal. It's a renewed masculine. It feels more evolved. It feels calmer too. Okay, I just took a 5-minute break because these energies were really strong and they were just really intense in my third eye. And I was like wanting to ground in and be like, what is all this? Because I want to be able to effectively communicate it. And the visual I was getting was that this is activating more of these light body frequencies that have blasted away a lot of things that have been heavy, traumatic, intense, limiting. And I'm seeing this light body as being a silhouette outside of the aura that is holding so much more light than ever before. And at the same time, it's awkward because I'm also seeing it as the marshmallow man. Like, how do you walk in this thing? Just being a giant poof of light that can feel quite magical and inspiring and also very ungrounded. And it's part of what is attracting and creating the next level experiences, is that there's these new energy frequencies that won't allow other things to connect or manifest or even be created because of how significant the frequency change has been. So that could be part of the dance right now, is how to ground into more of the light body, multidimensional frequencies that naturally levitate us and take us off planet. And yet the purpose is to bring the energies onto the planet, to embody them and integrate them into more areas of our daily lives, into more of the physical world, especially as many things are meant to complete and fall away right now. So of course, trust what that feels like for you and what might be coming up, because you might feel that some of these themes are bigger for you than others. You might feel that overlapping timelines are causing confusion. And if so, stick with the timeline where you feel the sun in Pisces. Stick with that timeline for now, because the sun always moves direct. It's always in a progression of energy. It will always connect you to your life force at this time. It is steady. It is reliable. It is true. It is also connected to your solar plexus. Another thing to mention about this intense Saturn energy right now is that Saturn is not going to return to 9 degrees of Pisces for another 28 to 29 years. Now, the way that Saturn works is that it does have a retrograde every year, but it does not retrograde across every point in the zodiac wheel. So Saturn is only moving across 9 degrees of Pisces once, and that's it. So this isn't going to be an ongoing energy unless it's in your solar return chart, which means your birthday is happening right now. And if so, then you are working with this energy throughout your solar return cycle. And so that would be your assignment from the universe, is to master this energy. But for everyone else, this isn't going to return to this point. So dig in, allow that to be something that strengthens you, where it's like, I'm going to get the most from this so that it's really free and clear, so that I can really grow and be stronger because of what this is for me right now. And also how it's being supported with the Jupiter and Taurus beneficial frequencies. These are big ascension energies, and they can feel like they knock us over, they come out of the blue, and yet it's so beautifully on time that it also has a promise. I'm just feeling a promise energy. So trust what that feels like for you. I feel like it is the Jupiter and Taurus. There's a promise of something coming up or coming through for you that brings ease, support, joy, happiness, especially once we're done with Pisces season. Because as I mentioned, we're going to keep getting these Pisces influences here until the sun enters Aries on March 19th. And that occurs at 11:06 p.m. Eastern Time. So for more specifics in your chart, you would look at where 9 degrees of Pisces is for you by house. And then you would identify where the Taurus energies, specifically at 10, 11 degrees of Taurus, are for you right now, because that's where Jupiter is lending a helping hand. That's where Jupiter is supporting what you have to let go of and change through these Pisces energies. Now, because I'm feeling these energies so intensely and they're coming through strongly, I've had to take a few breaks during this podcast to ground in and to just focus on what the message is, what I can share with you that might be supportive or help you as we move here into March. And something that I just received is the visualization of Metatron's cube. And it's being presented to me as a template in the sand, as something that has been embedded in the earth, but in the earth through sand. And the imagery I'm getting is that the Pisces energies are clearing old templates that we no longer need going forward, that have served their time, served their purpose, and that it's related to the Saturn in Pisces of a template, of something solid, of what we've used energetically to create our life, what we've built in our world or in ourselves, what has been created in our consciousness that is transitioning. And so I'm seeing again this template of Metatron's cube in the sand being cleared through new waves of consciousness. And it is quite gentle and graceful, but it's also persistent. It's the ongoing ebb and flow of consciousness evolution that is deeply affecting us. But there's also some level of peace in it, some level of peace. So I offer that with the hopes that it's something that you could visualize or meditate on or trust for yourself. I'm also seeing this at a cellular level, that templates are being cleared, old templates. Keep in mind, this could be for lifetimes. These could be templates your soul has activated or used that have also been rooted or connected to a God wound, whatever that means to you. So just some things to offer in case that helps you understand the bigger picture of what you might be processing and moving through, as well as how to visualize the energies working with you. Another theme over this week is that the personal planets, Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, are each interacting with outer planets. And that is going to bring in and open up bigger understandings and perspectives that expand us away from our limiting local environments, if you will, and show us more of what we can and even have to acknowledge and work with. So it could be a week where it feels harder to have more time to yourself, where there's always something, pulling at you or requiring your attention, or you've got to take care of this, you've got to do that. That's how these energies dance together. And when it's strong in a week or whatever the time frame may be, life is typically busier. There's more going on. We have a leap day this year on February 29th, and it's a great day to energetically take a leap of faith, a leap of consciousness, do something that is supportive for your energetic growth, or perhaps even use it as a day to catch up with things that you need to take care of, since it expands our Gregorian calendar and brings in another 24-hour period for us to work with. I did have for you 2 previous podcasts discussing leap year energies as time travel portals. So it might also be interesting to see what is happening with world events and what is shifting in the consciousness on that day too. There are many sextiles as March begins, so keep in mind that there is support here for what you are moving into, what you're trusting, where you're having big faith. There is also support here that could show up as little delights or little unexpected joys or things that rise up to greet you that make you smile. So keep your energetic focus on those arrivals, because they could seem like minor things at first, but they might lift your energy unexpectedly or bring you something that warms your heart. Now, on my Instagram and Facebook pages, I also post the current astrology transits as they happen. So you can certainly follow along with me there as we look at these transits that show up on a regular basis. And I have another update for you around the upcoming business development retreat that will be happening in October 3rd through the 6th at the Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina. This is a business development experience based on your astrology chart and your human design energies. This is going to be a beautiful, intensive, deep dive into how you are here to be successful with your energy. And this is the practical application of your individual energies to create a business that's correct for you. I have partnered once again with Rob Thomas. He is a BG5 human design certified expert, and he is going to be teaching you more about how to practice and live your human design, as I will be taking you through not only your astrology chart, but some fundamental things around business that you want to be aware of. For example, we're going to be talking about 6 types of risk taking and how to manage each one. 3 types of audiences you're speaking to. I'm going to help you understand the pros and cons of different business models. We're going to also help you navigate ridiculously high self-expectations and overwhelm. Plus, we're going to dig into branding with value and how to be more successful in sales. But this is not something anybody's talking about, but it works. It works. So I have a ton to teach you. I have a ton to share with you, and so does Rob. We are delivering this information through 11 in-person workshops. This will not be live streamed, and it's designed for those of you who are becoming entrepreneurs or you're already entrepreneurs and you're looking to correct your path. You're looking to be in alignment with your natural energy, how to do that, how to trust that, what is important for you to understand around your own path and what it means to be in your unique frequency for success. So I hope you'll join us. The first event in May sold out, and so we put together this second one in October. We're very excited that the Art of Living Retreat Center had space for us, and we hope you can join us there. So check out the link below. We do have early bird pricing happening right now, and we hope that propels you to sign up and join us, because you're going to get so much from this material. You're going to get so much that is tangible, realistic, and helpful. So again, check it out below and prepare for some awesome improvements in your work and in your business going forward. So as always, thank you so much for joining me today for this podcast episode. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday with a new show for you. You can find all of my current astrology programs and courses over at mollymccord.online. I hope you find something there that is suitable for where you're at with your astrological level, but also gives you more to work through and understand about your energy signature in this lifetime. Wishing you a beautiful journey into March, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take good care.